Okay, can you struggling to think
On a,
of, excuse me, go ahead, the number of visitors to Angel Island. I think this piece is, we are really honored to have it, to install it someplace, but the place has got to be determined. For me, and I'm sure for all commission, is the fact that this is a statue that it is honoring the first people who lived in this peninsula and in Ayala Cove and all that area, to honor them. On the other hand, we want to make sure that it is a teaching instrument to teach the young people, even the adults, to know about the heritage of this land that we live on. So it's very important to be accessible. In Angel Island, accessibility, as Lucinda wrote in her letter, may not be very good, but it is, because there's a lot of people go there and they take the kids because it's a historical place, just to get to know the history of Angel Island and the past of American history. So if it gets decided to go there, and there was a way of doing it, it can go right next to the visitor center, that it is a little museum, and the first people have a little room with their history written on the wall, and they have that. So that is just a suggestion. If you were suggesting the roundabout, I don't think that is accessible. This has got to be someplace that it is easy enough for a teacher to take her class, to sit around it and talk about the history of these first people. So it is really an educational thing. If we put it in our parks somewhere around here, it has to have a barrier around it so that the children cannot get on it or touch it, or, it will have a barrier. So it is all up to the commission to say something to add. Please.
Sure. I'll add something. I totally understand Chair Adamad's reasoning for Angel Island, and I think whether it's on Angel Island or in the town, each place will have its unique challenges. I think part of me really feels strongly that it would be nice to have the statue in the town among the people who are residents and inhabitants of the town. I do understand that the roundabout could be a tricky spot because it's a roundabout, but it's not generally that busy, and people can walk there and walk across. There's stop signs everywhere to see the plaque for the statue. On the other hand, both my kids also do go to Angel Island Camp and every year,
Yeah.
and there are a lot of school children from all over who go there. As far as the safety of the statue, I believe it's 8 feet tall, so I don't think children will be able to climb up. I mean, they might be able to climb up to the pedestal, but they certainly can't. I think a parent who would see that would bring their kid down. I hope.
I hope.
But I think it should definitely be discussed, the location. The other issue that I see with Angel Island is that I believe it's both a state and a federal park.
Yeah.
And there may be a lot of issues around getting something
Yeah.
there. That's the other major challenge that I see, but that's my 2 cents.
And I think taking it over there, as Lucinda mentioned, it is problematic.
Yeah.
But it is an option.
I appreciate the option. Angel Island certainly has a valuable historical place, and Arjun is absolutely correct. A lot of classes go there. They have camp outs, and it certainly is good. But I have to agree with our proposal. People, the Miwoks, it's difficult to get there, and you do have to pay, and you do have to plan your time. So I see this project with 2 items. One, as we have discussed last time, was the authenticity, and also the whether it's truly depiction of your culture, of the person. That's separate, that's being researched, and there are backups, and we could discuss that. And also from the artist, which I did not get anything from the artist for this time, how he came about. But anyway, the second issue is the location. And with the current, the survey given out by the Parks and Open Space, I think we should look at different options besides a roundabout. As I was thinking, I think the town is willing to buy the 2 ponds by the Richardson Sanitation. And I was thinking if there could be a place there that is set aside for public art such as this. Is close to McKegney Green, which would be good exposure because there are just so many games going on, which I'm very glad to see. And people know about the bike path, and people can park, and it's accessible and essentially 24/7. So I would encourage the commission to look at different location, and maybe not deciding on that factor now, maybe explore different locations. But I would like to have it in the town. I think is probably better for now. But I'm open to other people's ideas. So I see it 2 different. One is the authenticity of the representation, so that we're correct in doing so and honoring the first people. And secondly is the location. Thank you.
I had a couple of issues. First and foremost is the cost. Regardless of where it goes, and I think the issue is before us, therefore the question is where in Tiburon should it go, not Angel Island, because it's not our jurisdiction. So I do think that the roundabout is not a good idea simply because it is in the center of traffic. So I think from a liability perspective, I think it's not a good idea at all. But the other thing is the cost. So it's not a small amount. I don't have the proposal in front of me, but I believe it was over $100,000.
Oh, I
So-
thought that was 80,000.
No, it's over 100,000.
Yeah,
So
that's part of the third issue that we need to discuss. So
I have something to, I think the roundabout is not a appropriate place, because you know it has to be a flag and this has to be read and people have to cross the road, and as also Arjun said, it's for the children. It's very important that you know they could approach to it, sit around it, or hear maybe a little bit of the history. But yes, I think I agree that it should be in town, and definitely yes, the price is an issue. We have to see how we would approach that.
May I just, this piece, it's historic and it really belongs to Angel Island, Belvedere, the town of Tiburon. So all these three entities, if they put some money together, it can pay for it. Because it doesn't belong only to Tiburon, because it's going to be erected in Tiburon. But it is really these first people lived all around the Bay
They lived
Area.
also in Angel Island.
And then there are three bays by Angel Island. It's not just the first one. They started by camping. 3 camps were there. That is how they started 2,000-3,000 years ago. So it really belongs to the whole peninsula. What do you think about that?
I have no doubt that from a cultural perspective, it belongs to the 3, but from a government perspective and budgeting, it's not going to fly.
I wonder if I can make comments.
They have a presentation.
Yes, absolutely. I am with Lucina. I'm honored that you are going to so much trouble to research and take time to discuss. My heart is sore to hear that it might go somewhere away. The Coast Miwok, the indigenous of this country, have been pushed away, have been obliterated, have been made invisible. And that's kind of what my heart feels when I hear Angel Island. Angel Island is really known for people who came to this country. It was like an Ellis Island. And so that's really where the history of Angel Island really sings. And a statue like this, which all of you, I can feel the honor in your hearts of this. Of course, if it doesn't work on the roundabout, great, but not to invisibilize again this great nation of people who actually were here 8,000 years ago, not just 2,000 or 3,000 years ago. So thank you. I appreciate you.
I agree with that wholeheartedly.
I agree.
That is a very good point.
Yes, Patty, please.
I just have one comment that was, that I feel is necessary for the Heritage and Arts Commission to hear, that when this proposal first came to the town of Tiburon, it was directed towards the town council, the town manager. They didn't, of course, realize that there was a commission at the time, and that this could be considered. They do have the option to go directly to the town council with this. And in the beginning, I think you believe that that's who you were approaching. So I think that the Heritage and Arts might think about it in terms of the town council would always look to the Heritage and Arts for their direction, for their opinions, for their research, and for their support. But it would probably, according to the way I understood town manager Greg Chanis, become a bigger fundraising effort. That amount of money in terms of this type of thing is not a lot of money. It is right where it really probably belongs, in his opinion. So there are different grants and that is such as that. So it's not laid at the feet of the Heritage and Arts to raise, for instance, like Thomas Jackson, where we're doing a temporary art installation. So I think if you think about it, that was how we thought it would be considered by the Heritage and Arts as the guiding force behind this, but not expected to raise $100,000 plus. So just to bear that in mind, that they'll look for you to guidance, but it could go straight to the town council as a
That's
consideration.
wonderful.
That's
Yeah.
very good to hear. I
That's
didn't
very
think
good,
it was
yeah.
our responsibility, and that's why I think it's important where we could have an influence is to find the right spot where it has the most exposure. That,
Yes.
and I was thinking of that new spot by McKegney Field, when when the town buys that. And, we would support any kind of fundraising efforts for that. And, I know there are grants and foundations and maybe the state, who knows?
Well, can I say something? or-
Sure. Thank you.
I have volunteered for the state park and I also kind of am affiliated with Olam Poly, the state park up north. And I used to hang around there a lot. That's my family heritage and part of it. And so I had a lot of conversations with the ranger there and it's like pulling teeth to get the state parks to do anything. And I am certain they will not be interested in this at all.
Mhm.
No part of it. They will want no part. And, and unless, I mean, I'm not federally recognized. I'm a person who has Coast Miwok ancestry and heritage in my blood, and it's proven. I grew up here, and I was just telling Lynn earlier that most of the old timers know me from so long, and they know my father, and they're actually passing on now. So a lot of those people that know me, forever in this county are, are not going to be around much longer, because it was a long time ago. And so I don't really have documentation. My father has a number. He has his California number. I applied for mine. I should be, I will be working to get mine. But so the state park, I know they will not be interested in putting it in Angel Island. And also the cost, it's going to extremely accelerate the cost because then you're talking about moving.
Yeah.
There is a cement pedestal. And so you're talking about moving that and you're talking about everything. The bronze would have to be
Yeah.
moved there. And I just think that the artist, might have to increase the price because if it was there. And I don't think the state park they're on a low, tight budget. And so getting anything from them is almost impossible. I mean, I've thought about that. I didn't even realize that Angel Island was state park owned, but
Yes,
I
I
think
I talked to the ranger. They had a ranger there. And she explained all these. And that is when she gave me all the phone numbers and email addresses to whom to write. So I tried to get hold of her and see how many visitors a year they get there. But it is just an idea. We can
no, I
try
think
to find a place, a good spot, accessible, more accessible.
Yeah, I mean, I think we need to focus, just so you understand, at least from my perspective. Oh.
Put it on your microphone, please.
I think we need to just focus this and say, I don't think Angel Island is in play anymore.
Right.
For all of the reasons stated. I mean,
yes,
it
I agree.
is before us. We need to
Correct.
consider it.
Yeah.
It is a large amount of money. There is money out there. There's a Tiburon Foundation that you should, I think, I hope I'm not speaking out of turn, but you might want to either talk to us or go out on your own and look for possible funding, sites where you can get a grant or whatever it is. But in terms of the spirit of this whole project, it's incredible. to finally recognize here in our town, the heritage of the Indians, the Miwok Indians in particular, because this is where they lived and they were, God knows they were here long before any of us. So that I don't think there's any dispute about the value of this. It's just a matter of the money. So there is money out there. The question is whether or not you can fall within the parameters of a particular grant
Right.
or foundation or whatever to be able to get that funding. So we don't need to talk about Angel Island anymore. I think
Yes,
that we could
okay.
be helpful in terms of helping you, because one of the things about a proposal is we need to know where it's going to go.
Right.
So I think what we should do is be working together
Yeah.
to find out where it can go. And with the post, which is Parks, Open Space and Trails, right now looking at a whole master plan for parks and open space in Tiburon, that, we can talk to them, but we don't know when that's going to happen.
Recently, I saw an art installation speaking of this, I recently saw an art installation, where their little mounds are, it's sort of
Yeah,
on the
the
way,
South Knoll Park. South Knoll Park.
South Knoll Park.
Yeah.
Okay, near the football field where the kids play soccer. And I just wondered if that was an option.
Can I say something? I think there are a lot of options, that I was there every day, south of Knoll Park, and I think a couple of you were also. It was perfect for children, for visitors, for every age, dogs, frolicking kids, little kids, grandparents. It was accessible. And we were complimented that we didn't interrupt the traffic, that it's not visible from the road. And some of the people that spoke to me said that before there had been something that disrupted traffic because it was visible from the road. So and the other wonderful thing about that is it's right near our Portuguese tile dairy farm installation, which is beautiful. The thing that I like about Tiburon being able to put it here is our children, one of the most memorable things they go on is the field trip to learn about the Miwok. However, that's one time. It's like I went on it and it was treasured. And I would love to have this be accessible every day, every year to all the children, not just one field trip that they get to go on and then it's over. So I think what we're saying is that we need to look at how we get funding. We could approve it tonight for further exploration, which would include both the funding, number one, and number two, the location. And any other concerns, that we might.
May I say,
Have a question?
the artwork that we are talking about, it was very good that it would not be seen probably from the road. But I heard a lot of comments that you only have to walk to it. I mean, there wasn't anywhere that they could park the car, and there are a lot of elderly people live here. To park the car and, sort of a distance that is possible for, people to go and see it. So I think that is a concern. That would be somewhere that the parking would not be so far from it, if it's in the field or somewhere,
Yeah.
like a
I have
pasture,
seen-
We don't have to decide tonight,
No,
No,
and I think
right.
it's
but
inappropriate.
it's good to put it
but
into consideration.
I think we have many options that we could explore, both the pros and cons of who's going to be visiting it, how far they'd have to walk, the sanitation, acquisition, where should it be placed, where's the best place, where is it protected? So lots of options.
Yeah.
We just
So
have to.
I have people with challenges.
Yeah,
Yes, because
so
this was
ADA
what I
accessible.
heard many comments that there were people that they were saying, over there you have to walk. And if they parked in the Lucky Pasture, it
I
would.
think that
still
was
be a
located there
long
because
way.
the artist specifically wanted a windy site where the wind would blow it. We are not necessarily looking for a windy site for this, so I think there's a multitude of options. And as I said, with us being an hour into the
Closer
agenda,
to the parking
maybe we
lot.
should
So
just
to be accessible, I
Yeah.
think it's
It's
very
ADA
important that the
accessible too.
parking would be nearby.
Yeah, I think those,
Agreement.
yeah, we're in.
We're all in agreement.
Well, I'd like
One
to,
question I need to ask. We don't know anything about the artist, who the artist is.
Will Petit, he has a gallery in Monterey. And he has displays all over the world. He's pretty well known. He's wonderful. I mean, I've been working with him for 4 years now on a couple, projects. And, he spent a lot of time researching this because he wanted to get it right. And
We have
Is
some-
he a Native American?
he's
In
not
descent?
native. I know, I begged him, Will, come on, you gotta find something. And he says, no, he's had his DNA done.
Just an artist.
And I'm sorry to say, but his mother, what interested him in the Native American was his mother used to take him to powwows as a young boy all his life. And so he was exposed to it, and so that's why it's in his heart. Also, I just want to comment that if we, finding a place is almost foremost and the most important, because I've raised over $20,000 already, 10,000 for the other project, 10,000 for this one. And it seems that if I have a solid location, it's a lot easier to collect funding. If I'm able to say, we want it, we're going to have it right here. Than if I don't have a location, if I say, well, we're not sure. It
That's
just
true.
seems so that should be really something to consider. The downtown area might even be an option. That's where a lot of
Yeah,
these
downtown.
Native American.
Downtown, there is no place that the children could gather
But
around
you-
and look at it. It is educational. This is really an education for our youngsters.
So the little museum is out. The
Yeah.
little,
There is
How
one,
about
one,
Zelinsky Park, right?
no,
there?
Arjen was commenting something.
well, we can drill down into this later as we're running low on time. But I would like to put a motion on to move this discussion forward and approve next steps for making this a realization, which involves both discussing the funding as well as the location.
Arjen,
And then maybe working
I have a
also with you. But I do have one question, well, let's
I
put the
have a
motion on.
question, yes. I like to know, have we seen other works of the artist?
I have not.
Did
There
the
is a web,
artist
There's a
approach
motion.
you?
excuse me, there is a
The
website
approach.
link. And on the original proposal, you can read about the artist. Yeah, it's
And there
there
are
since
some
the
of his
original
work.
proposal. I think you weren't here, but yes.
There are
yeah.
some of the.
It's in that
sculptures.
PowerPoint. You'll be able to open that at home.
Did
we-
you
There's a
ask
motion there.
him? Did you approach the artist or artist approached you?
well, when I first came up with the
I
idea.
think we were in the middle of a motion, excuse me.
I
think we
will
were in
second
middle
the
of a
motion just to
Okay,
move it.
Can I
You want
just-
to,
As a point of order,
discussion?
in terms of the motion, could we at this point ask that as part of moving the proposal forward that we get an ad
Question.
hoc to do
Yes.
that, or do we need to do that separately?
it can be done separately. We can just
I
now
think we
follow it up,
should
or
finish
you can
talking.
redo the motion.
Okay, so I propose that we as the Heritage Arts Commission vote to approve moving the project forward and also to create an ad hoc to work with the presenters to move it forward in terms of location and possible funding sources.
I second.
Well said. But by move it forward, you mean exploratory?
exploratory.
Yeah.
Second, whoever.
I have done my research fully, but I'm here. If anybody needs any questions, I will.
So ad hoc being,
That's the question.
I'll be on there.
Victoria has space in mind, so maybe,
Okay, sure. So you've got to.
Gupta and Fong.
yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
very good.
And can
So-
I just share when
oh,
I did
Excuse excuse me, I just need to take a roll call vote.
There's no one.
Okay, it will be,
Okay. Nobody has commented.
Public comment.
Oh, right, exactly. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you meant don't do it wrong. Okay. So roll call vote, Chair Etamad,
Yes,
Vice Chair Gupta,
Yes.
Commissioner Farren,
Yes.
Commissioner Fong,
Yes,
Commissioner Muka Beavers.
Yes.
Commissioner Noguez.
Yes.
All in favor. Thank you.
Aye.
Okay. So,
Can I go to number one?
so now we're going
Is-
to item number 2, which was.
We had another comment.
Oh, I'm sorry. I beg your pardon. Yes.
Actually.
I beg your pardon. Oh,
Wonderful.
microphone, please.
Project, swoops. We worked with the Marin Arts Commission and we got some funding through them. I just wanted to name that.
I
Thank
figured
you.
the county would be interested.
and may I just add, I know we worry about the artists, including myself, but I also want to say that we have direct descendant. And I think with the First People, oral history is a very strong point in carrying on the history and the cultural background. So with someone authentic, direct, if you feel that is a correct depiction and representation of your people, our First People, I think that has a lot of weight for us to consider. Thank you.
Just to reiterate, the tribal council's words, I wrote it on the PowerPoint and his words, Dean's was, "We love it, Lucina." And those guys are not hard to please. So, not easy to please. Not easy to please. So that meant a lot to me for them to say that we love it. We approve it and we love it.
Yeah, and we could also include that in our description and all that. Thank you.
Okay, moving on to action item number 2, which was action item number 1 on the written agenda. Receive and consider updated proposal by the Public Arts Selection Panel Chair Judith Ward for a musical event, Hunter Nowak, pianist, at one of our public parks, and consider approval of the proposal and date as presented or with changes. So we'll move to the staff report created for this. The background, Hunter Nowak, piano performance at South of Knoll Park. Tentatively. The proposal for a piano concert performance in the South of Knoll Park was received by the Heritage and Arts Commission at the June 27 meeting, following by a follow-up presentation on July 25, 2023. Exhibit 1, and that is on your laptop or your iPad rather. We had seen the entire proposal before. The proposal consists of a piano performance in the outdoor setting of South of Knoll Park or other designated outdoor area with headphones available to enhance the experience. Date to be determined, May 2024 suggested. At both meetings, the commission requested more background information concerning the headphone rentals. Making headphones equally available to all at no charge as a public jurisdiction was a concern. The commission is asking that the proposal include details about the handling of headphone sales in other circumstances, i.e. cities, towns, public parks. Financial analysis per the official PowerPoint proposal, Exhibit 2, the costs. They would need to secure a $6,000 sponsorship to make the commitment to come. Ticket sales would run through their concert series via Eventbrite at the $40 level. A number of Good Neighbor tickets would be made available free through their Good Neighbor program. Those can be either self-selected or they can work with specific groups to share those tickets, likely 10 to 20 for this concert. Outreach. It is possible to add on an outreach of some sort, whether for a school, hospital, assisted living, etc., for an additional cost. This can be discussed once the main concert is settled. Promotion. They promote the concerts through their website, posters, media interviews as much as possible, ticketing site, local calendars, email lists, and all their other options as needed. Tickets will typically sell out. Other points of discussion are Exhibit 3, and that's the little two-sided affair that you have here. Parking at South of Knoll Park and accessibility. And number 2, weather, alternate site, and or date replacement if necessary. Possible fundraising avenues may include the following, but are not limited to: grants, private donations, public art funds, art funds, and I'm not sure what I meant by that, in reserve, held in reserve, thank you. Spell check, didn't catch that. By the Town of Tiburon Heritage and Arts Commission funds. Staff recommendation that the Heritage and Arts Commission consider approval of one or more of the following: the date of a performance, approval of initial site with or without alternate site, initial cost of $6,000, outright purchase of all headphones requires fundraising campaign, partial purchase with plan for free headphone distribution, must be approved by Town of Tiburon. There is a little further up to date to this when this was written, in that we got, and I sent it to everyone today when it was received, a detailed letter from Judith Ward, who could not be here today. And it is included as late mail about models 1, 2, and 3 for possible marketing or how to go about purchasing these tickets. I did share this with Greg Chanis today, town manager. And it really comes down to, it's never been done before. How will we know until we do it? And he agrees that if you were to purchase all the tickets and they're all free per Judith's prescient email, people tend to show up or not show up because it's a
Right.
free ticket. And then do you get a full house? And oftentimes you don't, if the weather is inclement or anything. The people who really want to come are buying tickets knowing the weather may be inclement. So Greg said, maybe it's a try and see if you get pushback. Just try by selling tickets and getting as many free as you can from them. It's up to the commission to decide. But it's just an unknown territory. But with merit on both sides. He said, I'm not sure how we're really going to present this as the commission. So I'll leave it open to discussion from there. And we have Richard Rosen, I believe, representing is in Judith Ward's place to answer questions.
Sure. So I guess I'm looking at the models, and model 1, we secure a sponsor for $6,000, which will enable us to put the concert on our schedule. We sell tickets, we keep that income. If the city itself wanted to sponsor, that's great, but that would not be expected. So my question is, the $6,000 is what we feel we're gonna raise from ticket sales, or is that just like the start point?
I didn't understand that either, because I thought that was just the start point to actually
Okay.
get them to commit, and then
Okay.
you sell, because she
And-
was on to say.
And so I guess my question is, do you know if Judith spoke to Hunter's management about how that might work vis-a-vis, I mean, if they use Eventbrite, that kind of, if tickets are sold through Eventbrite, that's fine. That's something that, they handle. We don't have anything to do with that. And if somebody wants the headphones from the town, presumably they would be able to purchase a ticket for the headphones, because that's what the ticket sales are about renting out the headphones. But it doesn't preclude any town resident from going to the concert. So I guess this sort of hybrid ticket sales, is that something that they agreed to?
Yeah, so, oh, geez.
Hold it away.
How do I have that great
I think it's separate.
loud
it's
voice?
also-
I wasn't clear from the original presentation from Judith either about the tickets and the headphones, et cetera, et cetera. But my current understanding is that the $6,000 secures the date,
Right.
Yeah, it's Thursday, yeah.
right?
To make the
So
concert.
this is money they need to be sure, they can bring their equipment and set aside the
Transportation.
date and blah, 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 yeah. So that $6,000 is there. They don't really care where we get the $6,000. And just as an aside, after our last meeting, I did write an email to the foundation, telling them in general about this idea and if there was any interest, in supporting this, or do they have any comment about it? And I did not get any reply. So I don't know whether, I thought that was a little rude. They could just say, no, we're
Are you
not
sure they got
interested.
They might not have gotten it.
Or they may not have.
Sounds
gotten it.
unlike them.
May not be meeting over.
And they
the
may not
summer.
be meeting. I mean, they're obviously right. So that's all I can say about that. So I have no idea. But the $6,000 is something that has to be ponied up at the very beginning to secure the date. So I understand that the date security is going to fall away soon.
They'll come up, yeah.
Right. So it's a little unclear to me what exact date it is, but I think we're pressing on the timeline here.
I thought it was end of August.
Yeah, well, end of August is pretty soon.
Yep.
Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing that this note clarified for me was that when they say tickets, they really mean headphones.
No, it's a different.
There's
different-
no
right.
separation between tickets and headphones.
Oh, I think it's separate thing.
No,
No.
No,
it's
No,
meant-
I don't think
you
so.
can go.
No,
anybody
because you
go.
can
Anybody
come.
go. It's the open space.
Yes, but what about?
But if you want to hear that
Oh.
concert,
For the full
really,
So you
experience.
can go without the headphone.
Yeah,
then
if you
buy
want,
this-
if you want to lay underneath the piano, sorry. If you want to lay underneath the piano and listen to the sounding board, you probably don't need a headphone. It's going to accommodate 4 or 5 people or something.
I don't
But-
know if they would. let me
But
then.
if you want to take advantage
Well,
of
there are
the,
I don't think
music
that's what-
concerts.
excuse me, ladies and gentlemen.
They don't mind it, but I'm with you.
Ch-
I don't think they want people to
If
lie
you want,
down.
if you want to take advantage of the full experience that they're encouraging people to take a walk on the, in the landscape and to,
With the
interact.
headphone.
Yeah. You needed the headphone.
Makes sense. I'm not
So-
clear when it says promotion. They promote. Who are they?
This, I don't know what their official name is.
They say
Novak
they
Group.
promote the concert
The Novak group.
through their web.
Artists, the artists.
Artists.
The
Oh.
artist himself does all the promotion. Okay,
To the website.
so
Okay,
Shouldn't be talking about all that.
sorry, okay, you talk. No, you're young. The young-
Okay, so my first thought, and I had spoken to Patty about this, was that I like the idea of having the headphone be a public free, that's the experience would be that, but that's not going to work because that really means that you don't have a ticket. So, so those are the two things that they are selling the headphones for $40. They tell us that's a subsidized price. But they do mention in Model 2 that if we find a sponsor for $18,000, that they'll give all the tickets away for free. So that's their income, and that's what they're looking for.
So they are the one who sell the headphones. I think it makes sense. The headphones are obviously
They rent them, they don't.
Bluetooth, no, with Bluetooth.
Yeah, probably.
Can I,
Yeah,
can
it
I
has-
give, I'd like to give you one detail at this $18,000 level. So if you subtract $6,000 for the set price, the base price, which leaves $12,000, at $40 a set, that's 300 that they're suggesting that you raise money for us. Am I doing that math right?
300.
So, and then you would offer them all free, but the problem being they're all free. Do people show up and then you just have this money? And would you be giving it back? What would you be doing with it?
They donate, they said they donated to different entities that they need.
No, I'm saying they're suggesting in Model 2 that the Heritage and Arts raises the money and buys the tickets.
Okay.
Then Heritage and Arts has this money in their hand, people no show.
Yeah.
Then what? Is it then considered who has donated the money and for what? That's where that probably gets sticky. So getting back to whether or not we'd have to go to the town council to be authorized to just sell tickets outright with X number. And I don't even know if you have to go to town council. I don't know what the answer is, but I just wanted to point out that's 300 tickets that you would be raising money for.
I'd like to say something.
No. I don't think that, the town council theoretically could put up the $6,000 to secure the spot. But the rest of the money, if they sell tickets and give away headphones, that's all there.
I think that's the best model,
Yeah.
is let them do what they do. And we are not in the business
I
of
think that's
selling.
what I meant.
Yeah, we're not in the business of selling tickets and handling headphones.
Yeah.
They have a relationship with Eventbrite. One thing I will, sort of suggest or maybe broach is the idea that maybe we would get, an early window to put it out to the town residents, perhaps, to purchase their tickets through Eventbrite before it opens up to the broader Bay Area. I think that's kind of an interesting idea, and maybe, something that would be nice for the residents and for the town and for this project.
Plus the free tickets for the underserved community. Mhm.
I think, I remember she said that once we pay that 6,000, when you secure it, the rest of it, they will handle it themselves.
That's right. They
That's
have
what
In
we're saying.
advertising, the
Yeah.
headphones
That's
and
good.
everything,
everything.
then we don't have to do anything. It
That's
is up
good.
to them.
So the question
makes
is,
sense.
is the town council,
No, I was talking about ticket sales. I wasn't talking about going and
Sales.
asking them for money. I would think that H&A could probably raise $6,000, but that's, up for you to decide. I mean, you can ask the town council for money, but you may be wanting to ask the town council for money for other things, so you have to consider carefully for 2024.
Point of clarification from the liaison. I thought the whole, complicated situation was because we cannot hold an event or sponsor an event that costs money
You're
on the
right.
tickets. So we're going to the town, just to clarify in my head, go to the town and we got the 6,000. But we still have to, the group has to sell, NOAC entity has to sell the tickets. So is the town then the 6,000 supporting an event that sells tickets? I don't know. I just need to clarify in my
It's not an
head.
exclusive event for just ticket holders. In other words, it's open to the public, but the ticket holders just purchase a headset.
You get a
But-
greater
And it
experience
is a
with it.
rental, really. It is not, you're not buying.
Yes,
it
and
for
also, I think that Greg was trying to look at it as long as you're sure that they are a nonprofit, it's like supporting any other nonprofit. That's sort of, you have to go around and end up back at that point. That was how his thinking has been going around this. If someone's making money, then
Then
we have an
that's-
issue.
yeah.
This is a private company making money. Eventbrite makes money. We know that. They end up having to pay them to do these things. But really, they're the nonprofit.
I have a question. With the ticket, they give you a headphone?
Yeah.
Headset?
Yeah, you listen and then you
That makes
return it.
sense.
because
Otherwise,
it's
you just
really
come
a
if you-
rental. It is
Otherwise, you
not
could
a
come and
buy.
I think
listen.
it's good.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
First of all, Patty's math is correct. If you take $12,000 and divide it by 40, that's 300. So that would be 300 people. I don't envision that that's what they meant. But I do think I like the comparison to the nonprofit in as much as if the $6,000 is basically their fee, right?
Just like a Thomas Jackson fee.
Exactly.
Right.
Right. They can do whatever they want. As far as I'm
Right.
concerned. I mean,
That's what
they-
he's trying to leave it outside.
Right.
We're just supporting a
Right,
nonprofit.
exactly.
Well, I think, yeah, I mean,
Let-
I understand that. I
But
think that it may be, I'm not sure this is a nonprofit. Is anybody sure?
They are.
Yeah, it is a nonprofit. It
They
is
are.
a
It
nonprofit
has
and
to
they
be
do.
because
Yeah,
we
she
don't make
explained.
money. I think it has to be with all these things. with the-
501c3.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
no problem.
Yeah,
Okay.
And they do good things too. I mean, remember from their website. So I think I agree with Arjun sorry, but we're gonna go forward with it, let them do the whole
Right.
thing.
I agree too. Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Right.
agreeing to that.
Yeah.
Do you give us the 6,000 to secure and the rest of it we will?
No, we have
We
to
have
fundraise.
Depend on,
We have to fundraise.
We give them the 6,000.
Right.
We give them the 6,000 to secure the date. And
Yeah.
any of these
Yeah.
performances, they have to plan out their traveling and their equipment, et cetera. And from what I understand from the website is that any money they make, they give it back out to either donate it to schools or,
Well,
doing
that's very nice.
performances. But I like the idea since they have the, wherewithal and the entire shebang on how to sell, how to publicize. I think our main course of action now is to figure out how to get the 6,000 and from whom and
Yeah.
from where and when.
Right. I totally agree.
do we need to make any?
So maybe my suggestion would be both look to the Tiburon Peninsula Foundation as well as the town to pull together $6,000.
And what's in your budget?
Well,
Nora?
to me, the critical issue is what's the deadline?
Yeah.
Right? So we need to know by when they need the $6,000. Otherwise, they're just gonna say, sorry, we can't. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know that there's time. I mean, it's always worth it to try to get the money from somebody else. But we need to think about our own budget, I think.
Well, let me email Judith and
Yeah.
get the deadline.
As I recall, they
moment,
just needed
we
the
have to
commitment. They
agree.
weren't so worried about the money.
We have
That's
to
what I
agree whether we
understood
want to
was-
go ahead with this or not.
Yeah, they just wanted it.
That's what I need to, we need
commitment.
to
Yeah.
know if we're gonna.
Could I ask a question? The money part. Assuming that we would have it by the deadline, then do we just keep spending whatever we want and keep thinking that we're gonna raise, or do we have any kind of priority? Like, this is one thing, one event, one time, 6,000. So for the year, do we just take each thing as it comes to us? And then we also want to try and fund the MeWalk thing. And then there'll be something every meeting. So do we have a prioritization? Like, do we want, maybe we should be thinking of, do we want one performing arts, one installation, one temporary thing?
Well, I'm sorry, my understanding was this was the concept of having a temporary exhibit once a year. And for 2024, this would be the temporary exhibit.
So,
You guys
but
can-
it's only one performance, so nobody can ever see it if they're busy that day or it rains or whatever. It's just one time.
Yeah.
It is a
I think to frame it more clearly, we believe that performance is part of the public arts. It falls under that purview. I mean, it'd be great if he could hang out for a weekend and play, 3 shows. That'd be amazing, but
She did suggest there might be 2,
oh, yeah, okay.
just to say.
Well, I think, I mean, we haven't discussed the other possibility of a visual artist for the public arts program. I mean, I think, we've all had thoughts about it and, but we haven't gotten there yet. I feel, given the size of our commission and our, our capabilities that, the exhibition program that we have here in the town hall, the performance piece, along with a larger, bigger project like the Miwok project, which I think is an important one and worthwhile, is probably a lot for 1 year. But, you know, there are other things too. We're trying to do something with the website. We're, you know, there's quite a few things. So I agree to have that a vision and certainly you know, a view of the near-term landscape is important. And maybe that's something that we should probably also put on the agenda for next meeting as well. But I think you know, it shouldn't be hard to make this commitment for this piece, because I also think that the performance piece is an important part of our purview. And it's $6,000. I think if we can make a motion to agree to the commitment to do it, then we can do it. And then if it so happens that we're too late, then we're too late.
So are you
That-
motioning
The
that?
date is what is the, in May 24?
To help frame the motion,
What
we
is
can
the
look at
date?
this. Let's look at the staff recommendations. So when you're framing the motion, we have the date of the performance and they were suggesting May of 2024. I think they need to give us the date that fits in May, but we would say May of 2024. That's my understanding. Then we get to the approval of a site. And I believe that that's going to be south of Knoll Park.
To go to town on.
And the initial cost, you're already talking about that. And then we've talked about outlining how the headphones would work, including the free ones,
Oh, okay.
which pretty much covers D and E. So
23
when you're outlining it, you can include all of those things if someone would like to take that on, if you're ready and finished with questions, but we should take any questions from the public, although I'm not seeing any attendees. So.
Then the way I hear it, I would propose the motion as follows, that we approve the project
The Hunter Nowak.
of the, yeah, thank you, the Hunter Nowak musical performance,
Musical.
that the date of May of 2024, or that could be the date, that we approve the site, which would be the south of the Knoll Park, and that we approve the payment of the initial cost of $6,000. I don't think we should do, or excuse me, I know I would take it that far. I would not include D and E as part of the proposal or the motion. Is there a second then?
I have a question.
That I would second. I just have a question regarding the 6,000. Where is it coming from?
That we're going to explore
To work,
Okay.
to fund.
getting the $6,000.
My
Okay, so we have a
Well, there was a
motion. but
question.
Before we have questions, we should get a roll call vote unless we
Yeah,
just
let's
want to
vote
take the
on it.
motion off and ask questions. It might change it.
the motion is.
Do you? is
I'm
this a question that's
concerned
gonna-
about the date. Because
Okay.
May is not isn't it better if it was when the weather is
Summertime.
better?
They had a very limited schedule is my understanding.
Oh,
and
so
they were
they
saying
had such
this
a-
is what they
oh.
have because they are already
May, the
scheduling
weather
a
is not
lot of
so
dates.
good.
What's an alternate date that you're
They thought
thinking?
maybe the kids are still in school and that would involve having people
Rainy.
here before the summer escape.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, it's their schedule. Otherwise, the end of summer is the best weather here. August and
Yeah, versus windy.
September and October, but I
September
guess,
umbrellas.
and the children
A
are
lot
here.
of people are gone in August. August is. a
Yeah,
difficult
but
period.
September is good, October is good.
Yeah, the Tiburon Wine Festival used to be in May, and I can remember going and it'd be super rainy and crazy, and
Oh, a lot
now
of
they moved it to the end of September. fall,
Yeah, May,
30th.
May is, I'm for outdoor sitting and hearing music. I don't know.
I think they might have been picked up. I don't know. I have to ask them if they're.
Do you want to make a motion to
fine.
tentatively approve May with a request for a different date.
Yes.
Okay, so could
Yes,
we amend
please.
that motion, please? And
So-
we'll just cancel the prior motion and rewrite.
All right.
Yeah.
You made the correct amendment and I'll second.
So motion is to approve the event by
No,
Hunter Noack, thank you. With the tentative date of May 24th and approval of the site of south of the Knoll Park and acquisition of the initial cost of $6,000.
No, and then finding out if there would be other dates.
Right, just tentative for May. And a second?
Second.
Thank you. Okay, so Richard, if you'd go back to Judith and I can write to her also, but that we'd like to be considered for a fall date.
Yeah, I'll explain it. Obviously, I don't control it.
Okay, and we'll take a roll call vote.
And just to clarify,
Sure.
May 2024, but not May 24th. May 2024.
Correct.
Correct.
During
Thank you.
the month of May.
Chair Atamad,
yes.
Vice Chair Gupta,
Yes.
Commissioner Farren,
Yes.
Commissioner Fong.
Yes.
Commissioner Mujica Beavers.
Yes.
Commissioner Noguez.
Yes.
Thank you. All in favor.
Aye.
And now we
Aye.
move, thank you. We move on to action item number 3, review timeline and details for Town Hall Gallery opening. Consider approval of same and delegate installation and reception duties. So you have a list of all of the people who have said yes. I'm in the process, a yes to the gallery opening. I'm in the process of collecting all of the documents that they need to sign, and they're coming in by
Yes.
mail and in person. We have 20 total confirmed, and the one new possible whose email wasn't correct, that's the only reason she didn't receive it, was Nancy Nichols. Did we have room for a 21st person?
Yes, we
Chair
will
Atwood?
try to make room
Okay, I know she'd really like to.
Yeah. because we are accepting 2 works from Don Beckett's
Yes,
work
thank you.
also. And I have shown here many times, maybe I'll have a small one someplace, but we will accommodate everyone.
Okay,
Really
and one
nice.
thing about the artists before we move on to the timeline. And her name is going to escape me right at this moment, darn. One of the, who,
September 6th is the.
yeah, but
receiving?
before we get to that, one of the artists
Oh.
wrote back to me
Okay,
and I'm sorry, oh, I'll look at the list and I'll have it right here. I just like to run it by everyone. It is, Oh, I am having a hard.
I don't remember her name.
I can get to everyone on it, but she said, I didn't know the sizes when I said, okay, and her size is 60 inches wide. But we have the landing, which could use
we
one
were
big
going to use the
spectacular
landing.
piece.
But we
So
were
I
going
said
to
to her
use
that-
it.
Right, for. Well, right, but we could use it for her. That's what I'm saying. One of
Only
the 20.
one person.
Yeah, she's,
I was planning to at least have 2.
Oh, were
people
you?
there. because
okay.
I- we
60
have-
inch, just 5 feet.
Well,
across.
maybe it could be on top and the 2 smaller.
Or
ones
we
down
could put
below.
it down in the lobby,
Lobby, I don't know.
right in the lobby.
Hmm. Again, if you put it in the lobby, it's going to be separated. from the
True, but I
rest,
don't
and
think
that wouldn't
that's, it
be
could
so-
be an
I
invitation for
think on
people to
top
go
of the
upstairs.
stair is the best place, I think.
We even have over next to the elevator, had you counted that as well, that blank wall where the plaques were? Because that could be a place for a big piece,
We'll see how it.
but you think it's okay. I
yeah.
just want to make you.
I just wanted to clear, you said September 6, but it's September 9, as 13, I think. You said
Well,
September
the
6th.
reception is the 13th.
Opening.
So what is September 6th?
But
Art
September
delivery, are you reading
art-
it? Art delivery date.
Receiving the art.
Yeah.
Receiving the art and the specific forms they have to sign and we have to collect.
We'll have all that ahead of time, but it's the art itself, September 6th.
Okay.
I want to have all the documentation.
Okay.
And then September 11 is the art installation day. Thereabouts, September, well, yes, September 13, artist reception. And October, I'm sorry, Jolly, I couldn't find,
This
was it
is-
October 11 or
No, it
18?
is not 11, it is 18.
Okay, that's what I
18th.
wasn't.
And then on 18th, there is no need to have everything down.
No,
As they come, we'll pick it off the wall
Sure.
and they can receive their work.
we just wanted a placeholder.
Yeah, right there
Yeah.
and then the same day.
So we have quite a duty list here since this is coming right up soon. Next week, I mean, yeah, next week. So August 29 is follow up with all the artists on the signed documentation. So I would like to have someone be ready to make phone calls if they don't send their documentation. This week that I can coordinate with. Is there anyone that'd be willing to help? Phone
I will
calls?
help you.
Okay, great. Because you have spoken to a lot of these people.
Yeah, I will help
People
you.
tend to forget to send these things in.
Okay.
September 11, the installation of the artwork, I think that, uh, excuse me, September 6, when artists are dropping off their work, I can't stop all day while they're dropping work off. So I'd like to see if some of you could rotate through the day to
But
be here.
isn't that September 6th that they bring the artwork?
Yes, and there needs to be someone here to receive the artwork.
Well,
I
I will,
could
I am
come.
planning to be here all those dates.
All day long though, or there should people.
I
you
can
should
come.
I
share
will
the-
be, and then somebody else has got to come, the second person.
I can come sometimes.
On the 6th
Yes,
Okay, do you want to work together on a
At
few
what time?
hours each?
or yeah.
and
Okay.
13th for reception, I think we should all be there.
Oh, that's the 6th.
Well, let's not
But
jump to
we
the
need-
13th yet, but the 6th
Okay.
of like
Yes,
this
we're
will
not there
be,
yet.
okay, just
Okay.
a moment. We've got Azita and
I
Jai.
could come from.
Is there a time limit when they could drop it off? I think 9 to
We
5.
did give them a time
Oh.
limit. We gave them the day
That's too.
that we're open. I mean, I can help too. I just can't do it
You can
alone.
come.
September 11 is the actual day of hanging the artwork, so should be at least 2 people doing that, and you can agree on your
Yes, I
time
will be
together.
there myself. Would you like to help
I can help you.
hang?
Okay, so
Arjun
we
will
have
help
that for
me.
that day, 2 people for the 6th, 2 people for the 11th. Then marketing, just, what type of marketing would you like to do? Someone needs to contact the ARC.
Venue.
I can do that. Because I've got information and I've got the contact with Francisco who will probably do it. Are you doing it? Great. We're gonna talk.
Put it in.
But did we want to do any kind of poster? It's kind of getting short notice, so I'm not sure. I think it's gonna be more this reception will be family and friends.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine. That's why I didn't even put a banner in here. I
Yeah,
knew it
could
was-
you put it in the tip top?
Yeah, let me talk
I
to
could
Lee
come
about that.
September
Absolutely.
September.
And it can go in the chamber and
Yes.
that gets out to a lot of people. So
Well,
there
it's
are
really
good
nice.
local ideas and social media really, because Lee can put it on Instagram and the chamber will also put it on theirs. That's plenty. And
I
then
can
the
come
artists,
in
we
the
should
afternoon.
just suggest to them that they do their own invitations if they'd like. Yeah. So September 13, the reception,
Just
Yeah.
to clarify.
Yeah.
Since Jolly will be following up with the artist on the 29th, she should ask them then to do their own invitations.
good idea. But see, well, I think I'm just gonna send a blanket email to everyone because
Yeah,
some of them
I
have already
think
sent in their
yeah.
documentation. Yeah.
that's a good idea. Yeah.
Good.
It
Okay.
doesn't hurt to remind.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna send them. Okay. And the reception, when I said keeping track of artist guest numbers, It's kind of, I guess when I ask them to send invitations, I'm going to ask them to respond with how many people they think will be there, because we need to have a idea in order to get food.
Good idea.
Now, I'm not gonna be my usual self for doing the food, so I'm asking whether since we're paying for this one because it's us putting it on, catering, or do commissioners want to band together and we already have the drink, the beverages and the wine. Thankfully, we're all set on that.
We had the wine pours.
Sparkling and
Well,
wine
we're
done, but
okay.
what about food?
I'll help.
Would anyone like to work on food, ordering or buying and preparing?
What date is?
What would be, you like order, you said there would be catering, it's possible catering?
I would prefer catering. I think it's not a responsibility for commissioners. I think we could always help with bringing some side dish, but
The
I think
Nugget
the
makes
major.
great platters of
Yeah, I
cheese
mean,
and-
could bring some fruits or something, but I think the actual catering, I wouldn't mind spending the money and doing it well.
Yeah.
For the initial, it's like a homecoming for artists back to the town
Are
hall.
you just thinking about cheese and charcuterie? type of
Woodlands,
platters?
Yeah,
yes,
I think,
nice
I think
trays.
something nice, but
Or
looks nice. You don't have to have
Nugget
expensive.
does, very reasonable.
Woodlands,
Nugget, Woodland does too, but
Woodlands
think
Market.
Nugget,
does
I actually
very
think does better.
Nugget does
Nugget
better and
is
it's
best.
very reasonable.
Shouldn't say that in public.
It's very fun.
Well,
Okay,
they're
is
all
there-
local
Okay, shall we have
businesses.
a Couple, like two people working together on
Oh,
that
oh, you're right.
catering menu?
Who's close to
Would like to
Nugget?
work together.
I'm close to
I
that.
can go.
You are close.
we know the
And
price
the-
of nuggets is expensive.
No,
Well, if you're catering, it's the same.
Nugget is,
Not the same as me doing it.
you are saying Nugget
I-
is
I
more
will-
expensive than Woodland?
So do you want to handle that, the food?
No way. Woodland is at least.
Okay,
expensive.
Okay, so I am going to work with Woodlands, excuse me, with Nugget to put together a catered menu.
okay. All right.
Woodland is, no, I'm saying no.
And beverages we already have, plates, napkins we already have.
Do we have any plates and
Oh,
napkins
yes,
left?
we have plenty. We
Plenty
ordered
of
a
it?
lot,
And the
yes.
glasses? Wine
We have our
glasses?
glasses.
We
plenty.
have everything
Plenty.
there. That's good.
And will everyone be there?
Set up.
Is everyone up for this date? And I will be here too. Okay,
Yeah.
great.
We'll all have. We'll all have.
We always have people arriving early, and if everybody is here, then it's, we didn't actually set a time. We should set a time.
Usually isn't it
Reception?
6 or 8 or is
Yeah,
it
it's
5 to
it's
7?
work day and a weekday for everyone.
Well, 9:30 maybe
So I
in the
wouldn't say
morning.
5 to 7 because that's a little bit early, maybe 5:30 to.
5:30 to
Yeah,
7:30.
7:30.
I'm game
Oh,
on that.
for that
Could
day.
do this setup in time. And I think Commissioner Farren and I were thinking, instead of all the glasses for wines, could we just use plastic?
We
I
cannot
mean,
use plastic in the
recycling,
town
I
hall.
don't mean plastic, bad. The recycling paper. Don't we? They're the
well,
recycling plastic.
We have
recyclable
a
plastic.
dishwasher, so it really is, people don't like to drink wine out of paper cups. Yeah. Is there?
I think so.
I had complaints from people that didn't like they said they looked like something out of the 60s, the little tiny.
Yeah,
Oh, that's too bad, really?
They didn't like the glasses. They're like, why don't you just do regular cups?
Oh, paper cups?
No, well,
I
they
think
have
they're
those
thinking-
recyclable plastic cups. They're green. They're expensive, more expensive. I don't mean the
If you want
paper
to
cups.
spend money,
They're paper, I
It's
did a
fine.
little research. They're the plastic ones that are recyclable because you can wash them.
yeah,
oh,
that's
that's
true.
what they mean.
That's true, yes.
So if you want to, if you feel that the wine glasses are outdated and you want to buy recyclable plastic. I mean, that you can wash.
I think those glasses are fine upstairs.
Yeah.
Glasses are fine. We have one.
You know, it's a townhouse.
Dishwasher. We have a dishwasher, so no worries about washing.
One at a time, one at a
No worries. Okay.
You guys have always.
All right, so should we have a motion to vote on, as discussed? For
Well-
the details of installation and reception? and
Well,
so-
the one that's missing is cleanup. I don't hear anybody.
Oh, I was guessing with everyone present,
Okay.
but everyone
Yeah,
would be
sure.
willing to stay and clean up.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
And then there's the de-installation day on the 18th, but that's pretty easy. People could come and just get their artwork and unhang it and walk,
Right?
unhook it. It's really up to them. We're not getting it to them, so.
I promise I.
So I move to accept the dates and the duty list as stated. A second.
Okay, thank you. All right, and a roll call vote. Chair Etamad,
Yes.
Vice Chair Gupta.
Yes.
Commissioner Farren.
Yes.
Commissioner Fong.
Yes.
Commissioner Mojica Beavers.
Yes.
Commissioner Noguez. All in
Yes.
favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And item number 5, discuss dates, excuse me. Item number 4, receive update by the ad hoc committee to create draft agreements for artists, temporary exhibits and commissions works for hire. And consider approval of draft documents, but I don't think that's ready yet.
There are no draft documents, but I will give you an update. I believe that the Victoria actually sent me the artist agreement from the library. However, the artists who are already coming to the show have already received their agreements. So that particular type of agreement will still be reviewed by Nora and I. The second type of agreement, commissions works for hire, is a little more problematic. And I'll tell you why. Because I fashioned what I thought was a very succinct, easily digestible agreement, which is sort of my style in terms of the agreements that I use also. I did want to run it past the town attorney, of course, and then received a much longer agreement with a lot of stuff that frankly doesn't really apply to this particular commission, the video project. There are no insurance issues really or anything like that because they're not working here or doing anything. I mean, they're working in a studio at their house. So that also needs a little bit of work, and Patty, you and I can follow up on that as well. I feel bad because Deva Wissenhunt, she has to pay her attorney something like $400 an hour to review this stuff. So I think she's
Greg feels the same way about our attorney.
yeah. So maybe we can find another way in terms of our commission. But I think there's definitely that agreement as well is doable. We'll have both sorts,
is.
and Nora and I will be reviewing both
Yeah.
in the next short term. Thank you.
Thank you. And number 5, discuss dates for artist laureate recognition and consider approval of date and reception. Now, unfortunately and understandably, Richard departed. The reason I haven't asked the town council what is a good date for them is because Richard's going to be out of the country on a big trip for almost a month, I believe. So I wanted to find out what date would be available for him. So it won't be happening in September, I don't believe. I think he's gone in September.
He will be
Yeah.
away September.
Yeah.
November.
Actually,
Do you
may
know the
may I
date?
suggest to the commission,
Yes.
maybe we could just suspend this for a few months till
That's
it's starting
what I mean.
next year. You know,
Why?
Okay, that,
the activity,
Oh,
we have to
boy.
select one where
That's
they're.
too long. It's too long.
Well,
He
I'm
has
thinking of
already-
November and December, nobody's around really, and Richard's gonna be away in October.
How about?
Second.
And I'll be away in November.
Oh, okay.
To spring. of-
maybe we need to bring that as a 2-part, meaning review the artist laureate search for a new artist laureate and
Also, yeah.
set, yeah, in the,
Will be next year in spring,
right.
next year.
I think we have a lot on our plate.
Few meetings.
Okay, so we're gonna postpone that.
And that too.
Okay, and the discussion items, discuss updating of commemorative book. I just have a short
Did
report
you
on.
ask the audience outside to see if they have any?
Well, there are no attendees and we don't take email
Oh, you don't
input
take
anymore.
emails? Oh,
No.
okay, that's
Now
good.
that
Okay,
Zoom is live.
thank you.
Thank you. The discussion items, number one, discuss updating of commemorative book. I'm happy to report that I reported to Mr. Block that the book is here to look at, that Ellie Block is now in the book.
Oh,
And he was very, very pleased. He stopped by today and looked at it and thought it looked lovely. He would like to have a photocopy of it, which I'm gonna do. But I think the discussing the updating in the commemorative book, I would only say in short, and I'm sure that Commissioner Fong agrees after looking at it, the commemorative book is woefully behind. And we, of course, would like to have it digitized, and there's so much more to do, I know. And again, we have so much.
Did
to
we
do.
ever find the other one?
Well, I saw in the beginning of this book that it said it is book number 1.
Oh,
Unbelievably so. That's right. So there are clearly other commemorations that belong in there. Paula Little happens to be one of them. So it's a bigger project to take on. And again, it depends on how busy you think you are now, which you are very busy, and perhaps it's a new year thing, especially when we get an IT person, which should go on the agenda to spend that money on the people to help digitize all these things.
I just like to say thanks. It looks very good, and I'm glad we were able to
you.
accomplish this for the blocks. And it's something that we could look at and we could improve on. And
Absolutely.
so thank you, Patty and Arjun
Thank
and
you all for
everyone.
your work, working with Mr. Block. And for a good write-up. And number 2, review dairy mural historical signage specifications. These are just the sign specs, as you saw, looking at them, nothing to do with the verbiage.
Right.
That hasn't, is there any update on when verbiage might be?
No, they're working on it.
Okay.
I think it looks great, and I'm glad for the information.
They're I guess the same as all the other ones that are there. And then we have 2 dates. September 10 is a concert at Old St. Hilary's. Fantastic band, young people's band. If you haven't heard them, Crying Uncle, they're unbelievable. And I'll be working that one myself, I'm happy to say. And September 26th, our regular meeting, Heritage and Arts regular meeting at 5:30 p.m.
Wait, it's not a regular.
Last time.
It is not.
It's my birthday.
It is not a regular meeting, my goodness. And if it had been tomorrow, it would not be a regular meeting because it's my birthday.
oh, tomorrow is your birthday? Oh, happy birthday. That's nice.
I don't know, at our ages, we're like.
You don't want to think about it, right?
Okay, well, I'm sorry, I'm digressing. It's time to adjourn, then we can talk about that. So we will be adjourning the meeting, Chair Etamad.
Yes, and the next meeting,
Yes,
next
September
meeting?
26th, regular meeting
it
date.
will be regular, and then it's the adjournment.
Thank you at
Thank you, everyone.
7:18 p.m.